What's up? What's up? Happy Friday. I don't know about you, but once again, I am excited to rock with you guys tonight. So, welcome to the Faith Unbuttoned podcast and the NAC Experience and Never Alone Christian Center. I'm your host, Pastor K. This podcast is an extension of Never Alone Christian Center, a virtual ministry based out of Baltimore, Maryland, founded by my wife and I, Miss Chiffon Wiley. Thank you guys for your continual support of the Christian Center, and be sure to visit our website at neveralonecc.org. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and also take a moment to subscribe. Turn on those notifications if you want to stay connected with everything we're doing here at NAC. So, with the business out of the way, how has your week been? I don't know about you. We ended last week on last Friday. We went into Sunday, and as you can see, my Ravens took a tough loss to the Las Vegas Raiders, but it was a good game with an overtime. I paid a price at work the next day because I stayed up because I wanted to see what my team was doing. But it's okay. I believe we're going to bounce back, and if you're into football or any type of sports, I know that we can be fanatics, but I look at sports as a way to get away from everyday life, and it's a form of entertainment for me. So, tonight we have a very interesting subject once again. You guys know the goal of this podcast and the Christian Center is to make faith relevant to everyday life and to make stuff 100% transparent to the best of my ability based upon my experiences and my knowledge with the faith. And I think that this podcast gives me an opportunity, as well as my guest who we have had some, and I plan to have more in the near future, just to relax and take on faith, but also apply it to everyday life. You guys know I'm big on family. I'm big with the children. So I encourage strong marriages and strong relationships and bonds with our spouses and with our children. I think that is critical. I think that's the backbone, not only of the church, but the backbone of our society. So with that said, tonight the topic is this: should your spouse have access to your phone? And I said phone because that's typically the device that most of us have. But if we want to be broad with this, we could say, should your spouse have access to your electronics? Now listen, the goal of this is not to start an argument in the home. This is my opinion. I am not tossing scripture at you to say, well, this is what God says, and this is how your marriage and this is how your relationship be. You guys should be sharing everything. That's not what I am doing. I'm simply broadening our horizon on the subject matter of our electronics that we have a plethora of in our homes, okay? And many of us communicate on these devices every single day, be it social media, be it text, be it email, whatever it is, we are constantly inundated with our devices. And COVID has pushed us even the more to utilize the virtual world, if you will. So the goal of this particular podcast, once again, is not to create a flurry of problems in the home. That's not the goal. My goal with this particular podcast is to bring peace and transparency to the home. That's all I like to do. I enjoy peace in the home. And I think our electronic devices, in some ways, in some factors, have taken a bit of peace and brought a little anxiety in the home, especially in our marriages, okay? Now, you guys know I teach marriage. That's what I teach. But I'm a realist. I know many people are involved in relationships and they live together for years and years. They may not be married, but they live a marital style life. Marriage is what I teach and what I believe based upon scripture. But I am addressing those who are in relationships, okay? So should your spouse have access to your phone or to your electronic device? Now, just so you know, in our home, my wife and I, she can go through anything I have. Phone, iPad, computer. She has all my passwords, Instagram, whatever, whatever she wants to access, she can have access to it. And that goes both ways for her, with her phone and with her devices or whatever. Now, do we go through each other's phones? go on each other? No. But why? We trust each other. And honestly, for me personally, I just don't have time to do all of that. Okay? I don't have time to be searching and looking because, as they say, if you search and dig deep enough, you might find some stuff. Okay? So I believe we have been together for years. Okay? So this is how we operate. Okay? But as I go through this podcast, you may say, well, I have a reason and this is why, this is why. Well, she can't do this or he can't do that. Okay, well, cool. So I'm just telling you how we operate because I do podcasts and I do teachings based upon how I live because I would never want to put something on you guys that I don't go through or haven't been through. So we have a free home when it comes to electronics. My wife can pick my phone up at any time and vice versa and whatever, okay? You know, I'm just not out here like that and she's not out here like that. That's just not our thing, okay? So with that said, let me make this clear, okay? Commitment is tough. It's tough. That's why we have to be ready to enter into this space called marriage. We got to be ready to enter into this space because with that commitment, you give up your level of privacy on some level. Okay. Last couple of podcasts we were talking about joint bank accounts versus separate bank accounts and what goes along with that in a relationship and in marriage and things of that nature. Our electronic devices they are a part of our marriage. They are a part of our day-to-day. They're in our hands all the time. We're constantly on. You're on the couch and your wife is on her device and your husband's on his device. And sometimes you're like, well, I wish he would spend just as much time communicating with me as he does with that phone. And that can go vice versa. You know, so we see how these electronics can become issues in the home. And, you know, and then the privacy thing of not having access makes more red flags pop up that may not be necessary, thus taking peace and bringing anxiety in the home. So commitment is tough. So make sure you are ready to enter into that space called marriage, okay? So tonight we want to look at 3 areas within this topic. Now this topic can be broad. Now listen, if you have questions, concerns, comments, drop them in the comment box or send me a DM. I make everything anonymous, okay? I make it anonymous. And then when I do the follow-up podcast next week and go into our next topic or wherever we may be, I will address those questions or I'll address them throughout the week in my story or a little short video or whatever the case may be. Because this topic of phone privacy and if your spouse having access is one that comes up a lot, okay? So we want to look at 3 topics tonight within this space. The first topic we're going to look at is respect. The second topic we're going to look at is a history or the history of your spouse. And the third topic we're going to look at is privacy. Okay, so respect, history, relationship history or personal history, and privacy. Okay, so let's just dive right into this. Okay, let me take a little bit of a sip of my quality H2O here. I'm trying to be more intentional of getting my water in. I'm working, trying to knock down this COVID wave. Lord, help me, Jesus. It is a process, but I'm working, okay? So let's dive right in. Respect, okay? Respect is so important in your marriage or in your relationship. Respect is so important, okay? So when we talk about your spouse having access to your electronics, access to your phone, such things come up as, why should you have access to my phone? Don't you respect my space? Don't you respect my personal conversations? Don't you respect me as your spouse to do what is right? Now, all of these are valid expectations of respect. Yes, you should have some level of private space within your marriage. Yes, you should have, if you have conversations that you may be having with your maybe your parents or something like that, you know, maybe a personal conversation. But at the end of the day, is it really that serious to bring drama into your home? I believe that most marriages start with respect. And somewhere along the line, respect is lost for whatever circumstances take place. So when we talk about respect, I think that in my opinion, your spouse having access to your phone is not a sign of disrespect. I think that it is a position of being transparent. This is why I am the way I am. If my phone can sit on the counter all day long, I'm not turning around to come back to get it unless it's something for work. Okay, but many of us, we leave our phone at home. We'll be late for work to come back home to get that phone to make sure that our spouse is not going through them. Not to say you're cheating, not to say that you're dogging, but sometimes if we're just honest with ourselves, there are conversations taking place through text, through DMs, through chats, through social media, whatever, that are rather unacceptable for the marital relationship, if you will. Now, you got to be honest with yourself. Just keep it 100, okay? Now, I'm not saying you out there cheating or you out there hiding money or anything like that. What I'm saying is we have things in our phones, if we're honest, that shouldn't be within our marriage, and this is why we come into this thing, well, if you got to look through my phone, then you must don't respect me, or you must don't respect my space or my private conversation. I don't think that's it at all. I think the lack of wanting our spouse to have access to our phone and telling them no, they're not having our passcode or our password, I think that's actually a red flag. And this is my opinion, guys. Don't come emailing the church and all this type. This is an open podcast. Pastor K is sharing his opinion. Okay? But if my wife were to ask to go to my phone, she knows my passcode. If I were to say, what do you need to go to my phone for? To me, that is a red flag. Like, what's in your phone? Well, what's going on? The mind game. Now, some of the brothers might be getting tight with this, and some of the women. Okay. Oh man, Pastor K, you out there dropping dimes. You now my wife gonna be like, I think I did. No, I'm not doing that. I'm trying to bring peace into the home. Peace into the home. Okay. So when we start saying stuff like, well, don't you respect my private space? Yeah, I respect your private space. We got married, but we're now married. What is so private in your electronic device? My brother, my sister, those whom I loveth. So the word game of you don't respect me and you don't respect my private space. If your space is that private, you got to stay single, in my opinion. Because I think the phone electronics are taking peace out of the home because it's becoming such a private area where we don't want our spouse to even look our direction or stand over our shoulder when we're on our devices. That is a problem, in my opinion. So let's stop using the word you don't respect me because you don't want to give access to my phone. I don't think it's about respect at all. Okay? Respecting your private space, respecting your personal conversations, and respecting you as a spouse to do what is right. All of those are good arguments for respect, but I don't think that's a justified term to say, well, you're not getting access to my phone because you obviously don't respect me. You don't respect my privacy. If it's that private, stay single. If you're married, it's too late for all that. There has to be some transparency in the relationship, and these phones and electronic devices are causing too much drama in our marriages. Okay? So let's look at this second thing here. History. Okay? Obviously, when we get married, none of us are perfect, and many of us have a history of DMs, messages, chats, Snapchats, inappropriate photos streaming along our phones. We have a history. And if you're married, you have your spouse, and they may be aware of your history and this phone. Maybe that's how you met your spouse, through a DM. They know the game that was used to get them. Okay? Or vice versa. They know the type of thing that transpired while you guys were dating, according to whatever the case may be. This ain't the time for me to be a holy roller with you. I know the thing that take place while we're dating, going through some of the pictures that may be pushed through while we're dating. Not saying it's right. I'm just telling you, I'm 100 with you. Okay? So now you're married, and your wife knows your history, or your husband knows your history. She knows the history of your electronics. Now, sometimes there may be a history of broken trust. Now, within the relationship, if there's been a history of broken trust and you're trying to rebuild that trust, shutting your spouse out from your phone and your electronic device is not the way to do it. I'm about to go real country. Ain't the way to do it. That's not the way to do it. Because when you're trying to rebuild trust, you have to be transparent. You got to be see-through, my brother, my sister. You got to be see-through. When you break trust in your marriage and in your relationship, you have to be see-through. I tell you guys all the time, when I messed the money up, when we finally got stuff back together, I am see-through when it comes to that money. Hon, this is where we at. This is what's going on. Hon, you want to do this? Hon, you want to look at that? I am see-through because I broke that area of trust with her, and I never, ever want to do it again. Okay? Listen, no one wants to be judged by their past. I get it. But only a fool will ignore someone's past. People change, people grow, people develop. That is good. Trust is developed, trust is earned. That is true. But our history serves as a reference point. Our history serves as a reference point of where you're going. Now, you got to grow into your trust. You grow into your development. And there's no better way to do that if there's a history of broken trust. There's no better way to build that, to build forward or grow forward than being open with these electronic devices. We all know why you don't want your spouse to look at your phone. We come on. Okay? Because if it wasn't that big of a deal, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. Why is it such a big deal that your spouse has access to your device? Oh, it's my phone, Well, then you stay single. We're trying to make strong families. Strong families are built on trust and transparency. My wife trusts each other. That's why we trust each other. That's why I don't even waste my time. I don't even waste my time looking for stuff, hunting for stuff. But I'm not giving her no red flags neither. I'm not giving any reason. Okay? Should your spouse have access to your cell phone? Respect. A history. Our history in our relationship, in our marriage. If there has been broken trust, the only way to repair that is be transparent. Be transparent. Your phone sitting on the counter, your wife she's picking it up. Now she's picking your phone up to check the weather because maybe her phone's upstairs. And you say, "What you doing on my phone?" Whew, you throw a flag up, or vice versa. Your husband picked your phone up because maybe his phone's upstairs and he heard your phone go off or it was ringing. And then he picks it up and he looks at the screen and and you're like, why you got my phone? He was like, "Babe, somebody called you and you got a missed call. It's from Miss Jones." But now he was like, "Man, she really got tight when I picked her phone up. Why she don't want me looking at her phone?" Now you got a brother thinking. Now you got a sister thinking. And there's nothing even there. But now they thinking because we didn't say, why you touch my phone? Why don't you look at my phone? Now you got wheels spinning that shouldn't be spinning. Okay? History. If there's a history, repair the history by being transparent. You obviously love her or love him. I hope. You got married. Okay? Hopefully you went through some type of counseling. Now you're married. Okay? So now it's time to just be open with each other. Okay? Let's look at this third thing here. Privacy. What level of privacy do you expect once you're married or once you get married? If you're not married, you have to ask yourself the question, what level of privacy do you expect? Obviously, if you're single, your level of privacy right now is totally different than once you get married. So once you get married, what level of privacy do you expect? Now, if you're not married, these are conversations that you need to have with your potential mate before you get married. So there is a clear understanding. Clear understanding. Should there be an open discussion of boundaries? Yes. Yes. Before you get married, there definitely should be some discussion of boundaries. If you guys are heading toward marriage, you guys are engaged and heading that direction. If you are married, there should be a discussion of boundaries. Okay? Now, I don't know what kind of boundaries you have when you're married. Like I said, my wife, maybe we're different. Maybe we're abnormal. I don't know. We just don't have all those boundaries. We just kind of like, hey, I trust you, you trust me. We just kind of roll with it. But at the same time, neither one of us have given either one of us flags to be looking and hunting and searching. You see? So privacy. So this is my assignment to you. If you have a problem with your spouse having access to your phone or your electronic device, I want you to ask yourself the question, if you're married, why? Why? She don't respect me. I made some mistakes in the past. That's my past, my history. I got my private space. Okay, if you're married, why do you have a problem with your spouse having access to your phone or your electronic devices? I want you to answer that question or ask yourself that question. Because answering that question, I believe, will help you become free in your relationship and bring peace. But you have to be honest with yourself. Why is that such a big deal? If it's a big deal. Now, if you're like my wife and I, you're like, Pastor K, my phone sit on the counter half the night. I don't know what my wife doing. Or Pastor K, my husband, he always got my phone playing some games. Whatever the case may be. If you're concerned about text dropping down, notifications dropping down from people that shouldn't be dropping down from, that's a problem. So my final thought tonight, I gave it to you in your homework assignment. Drop me a DM, drop me a message. If you have an issue with your spouse having access to your electronic device, I want to holler at you. Okay? Or if you have any other questions around this topic, you say, well, why, Pastor K? Why should they have access? I'm not cheating. I'm not dogging. I want to rap with you. Because I want to understand why this has become such a private space in our marriages. Because the goal, as I said, I want to bring peace into the home. And if this electronic device, which has its benefits, is a problem, we want to fix this problem so that we can live in peace. All right, guys. Listen, thank you guys for always tapping into the podcast. I appreciate you guys streaming it. I love you guys. I hope you have a good weekend. Go Ravens. And I hope that you guys be safe. Continue to be safe. COVID is still out here. Be safe and protect yourself. All right. I love you. God bless. Let's go.